Hey everyone, welcome to PA200, the introductory course for public administration. My name is Rick Epps. I'm the professor for this class, and I want to welcome you to the spring semester. This video clip you're going to see right now is basically to give you a quick overview of the Blackboard site for the class. I know a lot of you have been working in Canvas for those of you who come from the community college, so you'll have to bear with me as I try and update you on the Blackboard for a little bit of time that we'll probably still be in it. I think we're going to be shifting to Canvas sometime next year, hopefully. But in the meantime, we'll muddle through with Blackboard. So this will be quick. I'll try and get through it in about 5 minutes or so, 5 to 6 minutes, but I want to take you through and kind of show you the site. I won't go through details here as much as I will when we have the orientation on Friday, and also I'll be posting up for you probably tomorrow morning sometime a official Howdy Doody video clip of myself talking about the class in more detail. But let me go ahead and just take you through the pertinent parts. Over to the left here, you'll see there is a list of tabs with items on it that are basically the hub of the course. And I'll take you through some of the major ones here just to talk about briefly. And then if you have any questions, feel free to email me. My email address is listed in here, but it's just so you know, it's repps, R-E-P-P-S, at sdsu.edu. So feel free to reach out to me anytime, or you can hold your questions to the orientation on Friday as well. Or if you want to make an appointment to see me, I'll schedule office hours to meet with you individually if you need it, okay? All right. First of all, the first thing you're going to see over here is the tab for the course introduction, which you cannot see yet because I have to record it in the morning and then you'll be able to see it. But it'll be a welcome and kind of tell you about the class, and it won't be 20 minutes, I promise. I've cut it way back just because I'm breaking into 2 segments now. And then you'll see the announcements tab, and in there, of course, is where I will provide for you all the information relevant to the things that are going on in the class. So you can see, for example, I sent one out last Friday kind of saying a welcome to everybody, telling you where the orientation is on Friday the 25th from 6 to 7 p.m. and PSFA 325. So here's the thing that, for example, whenever I post an announcement, it also gets sent out to you directly. If for some reason you lose an announcement or delete it by accident, you can always come back to the home page here for announcements and find the announcement to get information that you may have lost, okay? Or you can always email me as well. Next, we also have the syllabus in here, and of course, this is your roadmap for the course. I'm not going to go through it in detail right now, but basically you want to go through it so you'll know exactly what's expected of you in the class. Of course, the book we're using is the Kettle book, which I've been using for the last couple of years. It's the 7th edition. But also you'll see in here the grade requirements for the class in terms of points. And so just make sure you take a look at that. And know that when you see where it says A range, B range, C range, etc., that's from, for example, A and A minus would fit into the first set of numbers. And then like for the B range, 520 to 584, if you had like a 575 or a 580, you would be getting a B plus. And then the 521 or 522 or 525 would be like a B minus. So just be aware that there's a range in there, and then wherever the midpoint is wherever the midpoint is in that, probably around 540 or so. And the same applies for C and D, and of course, hopefully no one will be in that area to talk about. But for those, and if it happens, anything below 389 is an F. There's also talks about information regarding exams. There's 3 exams, 2 midterms, or if you want to call them midterms, and a final exam. They each have 50 questions that will be asked of you, and you'll do that all built in online here. If we have makeups, if you miss something or you miss one of the dates, then make sure you get a hold of me ASAP so we can talk about it. Don't miss without talking to me, please, okay? Then there's some general information for you, just to give you some general knowledge about a few things, but it's just basic information. And then below there is the course calendar, which I'll take one more look at, but this is basically the way it's going to run. And the thing that's important about that you understand about the discussions, which are an important component of the class, which I think you'll see them up here listed here. There's one for every chapter, and the discussions basically are to be done the week after the chapter, after you've gone through and done the chapter work, because I don't think you can really have a fruitful discussion without having had the read and digested the information and watched the videos to be able to really adequately do it. So like for week 1, the discussion will be the following week in week 2 and so forth. So the discussions will always be a week behind the chapters, okay? And you'll see that when we go a little further here. Also then here, there's faculty information. So if you want to know a little about me, there's a little bio about my background and stuff if you want to know. So there's also a little video clip here. I do a lot of work on TV for the news, on political news and information. And sometimes I post up stuff and things are going on. I try and kick it out there. But there's a lot of stuff on both, well, whatever. You can find it on Facebook, or you can find it on YouTube or wherever, or Google it if you want to see what some of the work I've done. Okay, weekly assignments. This is basically, again, where everything happens, kind of your roadmap for the class. So you'll see here, like, for example, in week 1, it'll tell you what you need to do. So week 1 is basically reading chapter 1 of Kettle. And I understand this is going to probably, overlap into week 2. So no big deal. Don't panic about it. I get it. It's the early part of the semester, so I know you're just getting going. I'll probably be a little bit more stringent later in the semester, but early on, it's fine. I get it that it's going to take a couple weeks to get going. But it just gives you sort of a general roadmap, so you read chapter 1, do this practice quiz in the Kettle Study site, which is a free site that has a link to it right here in the tab. And then you get to do the PowerPoint, look at the PowerPoints, watch a video called The Storm, and do the introductory discussion. And so inside of here, of course, as you can see, I actually put all these things in here. So the link to the Kettle Study site is also, while it's in the tab, is also here as well. The PowerPoints are always listed in here, and so is the video that I wanted you to watch for this session. So everything that you would probably need to do here is available to you normally right within the context of each week, okay? Except the discussion, which I don't have a link to the discussions here. Discussions boards are all built in here, and we'll get there in a minute. And every week looks pretty much the same. So if I go to week 2, basically I try to keep the structure pretty straightforward so you know what's going on. Again, the same thing. And like, for example, here for discussion 1, which is week 2, it tells you when the discussion when they're due. So for week 2, since week 1 will be going into next week, this just tells you the following week when it's due, okay? And then, then the videos for that week are also listed as well. Okay. The other thing I want to show you in here, whenever there are exams, I always try and post them up so you get a chance to see them when they're here, like exam 1, week 6, it talks about briefly here, and then exam 2 is down here, and the final exam, of course, at the very end of class. And don't be afraid to click on the buttons and look around. You can't break anything. So just go ahead and browse around so you get comfortable and familiar with the site, and that'll help you tremendously. The Kettle PowerPoints are in here. I don't need to open them up particularly, but they're all listed here for every chapter. You can click on it. You can download it if you want to be able to see what's there. But these are the one for all 14 chapters, okay? Now, the Kettle Study site, which I think is a great tool for all of you, and I will go here. This takes you to the publisher site, and for every chapter, you'll see, for example, chapter 1, which is on accountability, which is the core of the course. There's laid out an action plan, there's learning objectives, there's a practice quiz, which I highly recommend you use. There's flashcards to help you memorize the key terms. There's also a variety of videos and some other things you can use, discussion questions, things you can use, a chapter summary that are really handy for you to be able to use. And they have this for every single chapter of the book. So I hope you will take advantage of it. It's a really handy tool. One of the few reasons why that I stick with the Kettle book. I think the access to information for students is tremendous, and that it will help you tremendously. Okay, so also in here, again, are the discussion boards. And basically, these are the discussions that you'll be going through and answering questions for throughout the class. And there's one every week that you'll be doing. So like the first one is just introduce yourself to your classmates. Just ask some basic questions, and this is just some easy points for you. I do assign some points for it, but it's just to get you started with some fun. It also lays out for you here sort of the breakdown of how I want the discussions to flow and what the information I want to come out from the discussions. It tells you what the point breakdown is for each part of the discussion and the total points per discussion. So there's 25 points you can earn for each discussion for over the 14 of them, and it comprises the 14 to the end of the semester in a total of 350 points. Okay, and you'll see again they're all like discussion 1 here, for example. It talks about what you have to do. It asks you, it points out a question, and then you have to be able to basically give your opinion, and then look at some of your classmates' opinions and be able to provide for them feedback on their comments as well. Okay. And the more you do, the better. Sometimes I have to tell students all the time, if you do a little bit more than the required amount, I will always reward if you're putting out good information and analysis. So I'm looking for real good detailed information, not just 1 or 2 lines, but a good solid paragraph or so of information for each commentary that you do, because I think that's why I want you to have a week to sort of go through the first week, and the following week be able to go through the process of doing the discussion following the chapters. Okay, the next thing is the video links. So for all the videos that are in each section of the weekly assignments, they're also listed in here. And so some of the ones, if you can't find them, you can go right to this. I pretty much have them all stored in here. They're not in order, but they're all listed in here, along with tons of other ones too. So there's a lot of good information and a lot of interesting videos in here. And if you're interested in doing something more creative, feel free to browse them, or if you have another video you're interested in or think might be very pertinent, please recommend it to me. The last thing I'm going to talk about here, just in general, are the exams. And so when it comes to exam time, all you'll do is come here to the exams, click on the tab, and for exam 1, it'll give you the basic information about what you need to know about the exam. And then you'll click on it, and then once you click into it, you'll click begin, and then it'll take you into the exam and tell you, okay, you've got all the X amount of time to go through, and when you get down to 5 minutes, it'll tell you. When you get down to 1 minute, it'll tell you, and the last 30 seconds, it'll tell you. The key thing here that I always tell students to remember is you get 1 hour to do this, unless you're a student with disabilities and you have an additional time allotment, which if you do, please get in touch with me ASAP so I can make those adjustments for you, if that's in fact the case for some of you. And I'm definitely down to accommodate for that. But the way I suggest you approach this is go through and answer all the ones you know first, and then go back and do the ones that you might know, and then lastly do the ones you don't know. Just take a guess. But that's the smart way to be able to approach this. Don't just get stuck on one question and all of a sudden you wasted 5 or 10 minutes for no reason, and then for one question when you could have gotten all the other ones done. So when you're done, you'll click on the Save and Submit button. Do not click on the Save All Answers. That will not save them. Click only on the Save and Submit. And then the other stuff here I'm not going to go through, but you basically have My Grades, which basically shows you your grades in the class if for the work you've completed. Links to the library, web portal, student services, and some other tools. Those are the things that you'll see when you log in into the classroom site. The other thing I will tell you real quickly is I recommend you either use Firefox or Google Chrome or even Safari for accessing Blackboard. I would say stay away from the Internet Explorer or those types of things. It just doesn't seem to operate as well in that environment for some reason. So make sure that you kind of stick to those 3. And also I will tell you, before you get into taking exams, make sure you go through and you clear your cache and you clear out your stuff, your information, so that you don't have any glitches or breakdowns in the system. So that's something you want to make sure that you definitely do. So when you, for example, in Firefox, you would go into Preferences, and before you take any exams, before you even go in, you'll click on Privacy and Security, and then you will go in here, clear your data, and make sure you do that, and that'll take care of all that. And then also what I do is I scroll down and I can clear your history out. And that way you don't have any worry about breakdowns or the system getting bogged down. Okay, if anything happens during an exam or something, just shoot me an email. Don't panic. I will, do what I can to help or reset or give you additional time if needed, okay, at that point. Okay, I've taken you through sort of the basics, and we'll be talking more about this as we go, but I wanted to give you something to work with, and I'm looking forward to having a fun semester. I'm a pretty hands-off kind of guy. I don't sit here and bug you every second about what's going on in the class. I have it all set up for you, ready to roll, and I'll be adding a few more videos of me talking to you about certain things along the way. And if you certainly need to reach me, don't hesitate. And let's have a fun semester, okay? You guys have a good one. I'll look forward to seeing you on Friday.